coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts. Hey, man, shout out to everybody out there on Team Banky Pounds, man. I appreciate the love. Bang, bang, boom, boom, boom. I appreciate the support, man. We out here, man, in Vegas. Got a day or two more out here, man. It's crazy. Man, big shout out to the dudes I met last night from Charlotte, man, who TBP Nation, man, might be going to the fight. Ooh, hey. Stick around, man. I'll keep y'all posted. But anyway, man, just seeing all the way it is out here, the life and everything, man, it's crazy, man. I see how, it's a lot of homelessness out here, man. There's a lot of crazy stuff. And it just make me just think, man, how even in prison, man, when you're in prison, man, there's some things that can happen to you where you can't recover from. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing out here. I'm looking at the homeless people. I'm watching them because I'm a people watcher, especially coming from where I've been. So I can see it, man, how people, whatever it is that life threw at them, they couldn't recover. And it just made me think about dudes like that in prison, man. It's gonna make you turn one way or another. You know what I'm saying? Some things that happen in prison, there ain't no going back from. And the first person I thought about was Archie, man. Remember I told y'all I had this homeboy named Archie, man. He was, a money getter on the street, man. He used to get that money. He was a real live dope boy. And when he came to prison, it was the same thing, man. He was getting money, but you got to think he not from VA. And then dudes, start talking to him, man, you know what I'm saying, and robbed him and took him for a pack one time and beat him up and all that. So, you know what I'm saying, Archie was a loner too, though. You know what I'm saying? Even though he was from the city, I'm just getting there. So there's a lot of dudes that ain't really mess with him because of, the way he was. But man, that messed him up. That messed him up real bad, man. And I guess he got it in his mind on some street stuff like, well, I'm gonna get him back, which is normal. You know what I'm saying? When somebody do something to you, it's normal to want to get some get back if you got it in the spine and your back. And man, he laid on him, man, rocked him to sleep, man. They thought he was, PUSSY, man. And man, I remember, they shut their yard down, man, and we went on lockdown. Everybody was like, what happened? What happened? And it was like, man, Archie was out there walking laps, man, right around the same dudes that had robbed him, man. And he walked by him a couple of times, and they fighted him off like he ain't nothing, he ain't gonna do nothing. We done did this, we done did that. And man, he pulled that joint out and started hitting them. I mean, both of them. He put some work in on them, man. And both of them had to go to the hospital. I heard one dude lost his eye. He got hit in the eye, lost his eye. So Archie ain't have forever. You know what I'm saying? I think he had a release date. You know what I'm saying? Even though he had drug charges, he had a release date. And you catch that time in the penitentiary, I told you, man, you get that time in the penitentiary, that's flat time. You get 15 years, you got to do 15 and then go back to doing your time, to go back to doing your bit. So he was facing some serious stuff, man. Malicious wound, maiming, attempted murder. So he tried to play the crazy role, to my understanding, because all this is happening right when I'm getting there. So he tried to play the crazy role from what I understand, man, and trying to beat them charges, man. And they ended up putting him in a mental institution and started shooting them drugs up in him. Because he playing crazy. They started put you on that Thorazine and Maxine. That's what they call it in prison, man. That Thorazine and Maxine. That joint had you walking slow, slobbing, slurring your words, all of that type of stuff. So I heard that he went up in that joint, man, and they kept pumping him up with that medication, man. And he didn't beat the charges, but he messed around and got, strung out on that medication, bro. And that was crazy to me, man, because he was a slick dude. I'm talking like a street dude, a slick dresser, fly, all of that. But now he was like gone, his whole mind gone. When I get in the situation that I get in with Big Raymond and all of them, and then the white boy, and I ended up on Mecklenburg, and I see him and I go to speak to him, and he, you know what I'm saying? He like, hey, don't, like, get away from him. I'm like, man, what this? Archie, man, what up? I'm like, man, what the? And the lady in the booth hit the joint and called me and told me, she said, look, he don't talk to nobody. I said, well, he don't talk. I said, I know, that's my. She said, he ain't talked since he been here. Like, what? I said, nah, he don't talk. You know what I'm saying? So that joint just blew me. It's like he couldn't recover from that. It blew his mind. You know what I'm saying? That medication just took over his whole body, and he is a whole different person. And I heard he got a rack of time with that. You see what I'm saying? So that it's things like that that can happen to you in prison, man, that you can't come back from. You just can't come back from it. And it's the same thing the opposite way, man. Dudes will be meek. Dudes would be, or get in an incident or something could just change their whole bit, man, change your whole life. Same thing with Shakur, the dude I taught how to box. Shakur was, to my understanding, Shakur learned how to box or wanted to learn how to box because he had a butt naked in front. He had a missing tooth right in front. That's, you know what I'm saying? Shakur, tall dude, 6'3", slim. You know what I'm saying? He was kind of unorthodox, kind of goofy looking, you know what I'm saying? Goofy acting, rather. And dudes used to bully him, you know what I'm saying? And I guess somebody, from my understanding, he had a chain. And somebody tried to take his chain and he fought for the chain. Dude ended up knocking his teeth out and beating him down. You know what I'm saying? So he was vexed about that. He was, you know what I'm saying? But he ain't really had no, you know what I'm saying? He had the heart, but he ain't had the skills. And that's why he wanted to learn how to box. But I didn't know all this at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? But he learned how to box, man, and Shakur turned into a vicious Bama, dog. Shakur started whooping jokers once he learned, bro. I mean, I worked with him for about a year, and I'm telling you, he was dedicated, man. At first, he was so goofy, he couldn't even really like move correctly. He moved awkward. But he was dedicated, bro. He stayed at it. He worked every day. Every day I went outside to work, he came out there. He listened. He learned. He took good information, processed that joint, and he started getting better and better. Plus, he was tall and he was southpaw. He was a left-hander. You know what I'm saying? So when I leave, he started working with my homeboy Rob and my little homeboy Flo, because I got in trouble and went to the hole. When I went to the hole, they put me on the other side of the yard, so I wasn't around them no more. So when I came back almost 2 years later, man, Shakur was whooping all the jokers over there in the gym. And he was whooping dudes on the yard. You know what I'm saying? He was taking his vengeance. I guess the dude and not this joint, I was gone. You know what I'm saying? So he turned into a real live bully. Then he got in the clique with Kent. He was in the clique, the Kent clique, where Kent was getting the money, but Kent was like the mild mannered drug dealer. He ain't want no problems whatsoever with nobody. But all he had around him was head busters. He had JoJo, he had Rico, he had Shakur, he had Pittsburgh. All these dudes gonna move for him. Then he ain't got to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because you could take something from Kent or get the sack from Kent and don't pay him. Kent just gonna say, "All right, go ahead, keep that. Don't ask me for nothing else." You know what I'm saying? And that's that. He ain't gonna raise his voice about it. He won't trip it. You know what I'm saying? But Shakur or JoJo, them like, man, he did what? He took what? Man, JoJo gonna pull up on him, man. Hey, man, you gotta get that money. You gotta get that money today. Yeah, for the count time. And you don't get that money. What? JoJo will knock him out. And Rico just gonna scrape. You know what I'm saying? So dudes knew and they respected, you know what I'm saying, Kent for that, because they knew that he had them head busters with him. Shakur was one of them. Once Shakur learned how to fight, Shakur was pulling up on jokers about that money and just slamming them, knocking them out. You know what I'm saying? So he started getting a reputation. So he went from, being meek and kind of scared to being a bully. You know what I'm saying? Once that incident happened, he put it in his mind that I ain't gonna be one of them jokers that's doing this time that dude's gonna be taken advantage of. And he learned how to fight, man. He was dedicated to learn how to fight. And after that, he just turned up on jokers, man. And whereas to later on, years down the line, we on not away, and he ended up stabbing my homeboy. You know what I'm saying? He ended up stabbing my homeboy, which I ended up getting locked up for, crazy as it sounds, just because. You know what I'm saying? I was in the area, in the blood, and I tried to help him get some help. If you go back and watch the video, you understand it. But all of that was behind Shakur. You see what I'm saying? All of that was behind Shakur, man. And this is a dude that when he first came in, like I say, he was weakly, he was scary, but he turned it around, bro. Same thing with Smoke. Smoke from Richmond. Smoke was like that. Smoke came in, man. I was around Smoke. We was on Augusta together. Smoke was nervous, pervious, man. Got time to do. He nervous. He was hanging around me, him, and another little youngin. I can't remember the other little youngin name, but they was around me all the time. I wasn't nothing but 2 or 3 years older than them, but they was younger than me. But they was nervous. You know what I'm saying? Especially Smoke. Smoke was real nervous. You know what I'm saying? Man, I'm running Smoke. All he talked about was the gangster stuff. Man, you see, I do stab dude like he was fascinated by that stuff, but he was terrified because he ain't want none of that stuff to happen to him. So he used to look at, man, I heard dude right there used to be this, or man, I heard he stabbed a couple of dudes. He was fascinated with that. Man, I run into Smoke years later, man. Smoke is a terror. Smoke done stabbed a couple of dudes and got his weight up. He bullying dudes. He on it. He is all the way on it. And I guess once he got the respect from stabbing somebody, that's just what he got on. He ended up doing that his whole bit. Stabbing dudes. That's why I remember I told y'all him and Vietnamese Tony was beefing one time back in the hole, was trying to stab each other. You know what I'm saying? Smoke just became that, man. It changed his whole persona, man. His everything. You know what I'm saying? All of the old timers that he was around, that he seen when he came in, that was putting that work in, the dudes was scared of because of the work they done put in, the reputation they had. He wanted that. And he did that. You know what I'm saying? He started, dude, before Smoke left out of that penitentiary, dudes knew if you mess with him, you had to, you know what I'm saying? You had to do something. You know what I'm saying? Because his ego had got in the way. He wanted to be a penitentiary, you know what I'm saying, touch off. And that's what he became. You know what I'm saying? Even when I was on Sussex 2 with him, and he pull up on the dude and on some bull jab and bullied the dude, punched the dude or something, and then the dude cousin pulled up on him and knocked him out. Knocked him out. Bang, bang, bang. You did something like knock him, slam out. And Smoke is not a little dude. You know what I'm saying? But this dude was cut up and dude had some boxing skills, knocked him out. And Smoke had to wear that. They go to the hole, everybody talk about him there. So his ego was involved. And Smoke laid on that joker, man. When they got out the hole, months later, get out the hole, both of them, they let both of them out of the hole because it was just a fist fight. So it let you out the hole. If you just get in a fist fight with somebody, they'll take the chance to let you back out there, not even thinking about the revenge. That's how your life is in danger in prison. You dig what I'm saying? They ain't even thinking about somebody might want revenge, or they just thinking like they gonna just let it go. Only time they really move one of the persons off rip is if they ask to be moved or they scared to come back out on the yard, and or somebody use that Bethlehem. If they don't do that, they're gonna put you back out on that yard and you do got to rumbling with somebody. So that's up to you to get rid of them. So they put them back out there, and I guess dude won't fighting this Smoke or won't thinking about Smoke. I just knew. I said ain't no way, because his ego too big. They not gonna, man, Smoke gonna get it. And sure enough, he was coming from a visit one day, and I don't know how he get up out there, but Smoke got up out there and lingered on that boulevard, man, which you cannot do on Sister 2 because they got the gun tower out there. You don't supposed to be on that boulevard unless you going here or there. But he the manipulator, he had his way out. He was out there on that yard, and dude coming from that VI where he know dude ain't got no knife. You ain't got no Bethlehem coming out that visit room. You ain't got no one going in that visit room unless you going to jail. Straight up. Ain't no way you can't. There's no way you could do that. And he came up out there, John Smoke was waiting on him and ran down on him and stabbed him for sure. And they say he was rumbling though. They said that young boy was rumbling. You know what I'm saying? They say if Smoke ain't had that knife, he'd have got whooped again. But he put some holes in him. You know what I'm saying? And that just go with the territory because he had to keep up that reputation, man. See what I'm saying? You cannot have a reputation in prison that don't protect it, because once you don't do what you known to do, then dudes gonna look at you different. It's just like that. It's just like a switch. They just turn you to stab 4-5 dudes, and then you let somebody knock you out or beat you up, and then you don't do nothing. Oh man, he's weak now, man. That's what he used to. It's ongoing, man. It's ongoing in prison. You got to keep doing it and keep doing it. You got to keep, you know what I'm saying? How you start is how you gonna finish. You know, but these are the things, man, where prison to change you, man. When you can't recover, man. You're turning into what you become in prison, man, by your circumstances, man. And I guess you could say the same about me. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, you know what I'm saying. I won't. You know what I'm saying? Trying to be no dude that go around. You know what I'm saying? That I'm gonna just stab you when you do something crazy or you make me nervous or something. I'm a fighter. I'll rumble. But it ain't like that in prison. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like that. You can't just put hands on dudes because of what I just said. You put hands on dudes and you leave them around you, bro, you might be a victim. So, like I say, man, prison will alter your life, bro. One way or another, it will alter your life, bro. It will alter your life. It's either for the bad or for the good, but prison will 100% alter your life. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna be unscathed from prison, either by the way you think, the way you move, the way it is. You're not gonna be unscathed, bro, because the environment is just too different. It's just too different, bro. And the way I look at it out here, man, just being out here in Vegas and seeing these people walking around and begging for this, bag. I see dudes going in trash cans, pulling out half a cup of beers or drinking. Look at, don't even wipe it, just take it straight to the head, start drinking it, digging in cigarette ashtrays, get cigarettes, just lighting it up, picking junks up off the floor. It's insane, bro. And it's sad, but it's insane. But it's like in the prison, bro. You got dudes like that in prison, man. That environment that they're in or something that happened to them would change them, you know what I'm saying? And they just can't recover. You got dudes leaving, like even all the way back to my homeboy Snyder. You know what I'm saying? Snyder won't, you know what I'm saying? He ended up being locked up for something he didn't do, which was a bad charge at that. Now imagine being in prison for a bad charge, you know what I'm saying? He had the RAPE charge and he didn't do it. But nobody gonna believe you in prison. Everybody said they ain't do what they locked up for. But he actually didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Had a little promising boxing career coming up as an amateur, and then you locked up in prison for that. You know what I'm saying? It altered him, man, and he was depressed and everything. He started using drugs. You know what I'm saying? Started messing with that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? And caught a real life habit. But he was such a fly dude, he still pulled the baddest broad on the compound. You know what I'm saying? But he had caught a habit. You know what I'm saying? And then years later, when the DNA stuff started coming out, because you got to think, we locked up in the 80s, that DNA won't even really a thing. You know what I'm saying? But when that started coming out and he got a lawyer and all that and got DNA, found out he ain't do it, and by the time they let him out, he a full-fledged dope fiend. See what I'm saying? His life is altered forever. That ain't nothing that you could just put down there. Your career gone. You can't be a boxing there. You older. You'd have been in prison double-digit numbers before they figure out. You know what I'm saying? So, bro, it's wicked, man. It's a wicked life, bro. It's a wicked life, man. It's a wicked life, man. It just, I don't know. I think different, man, because I've been through different stuff. So I just see that stuff and I look at it and I'm like, man, it's weird, man. I found myself out there yesterday just staring at people, man, for probably 2-3 hours, just watching how they move, watching, you know what I'm saying, what they, I watch all the homeless people. I see all these girls out there selling cat. I can see it, I can peep it. It's like in prison, you got to know your surroundings, you got to know the lay of the land, how people move and what they doing, who looks suspicious, who, you know what I'm saying? I can see things, I can know. I know and I see it and I watch it to see if it manifests and see if it's true. And I was right like 90-something% of the time, man. But it's wild, bro. But yeah, man, the basic thing is I'm just kicking it with y'all this video right here. But yeah, prison is a lot like the outside world, just more confined, man. But it will change your life. And I look at these people out here that's struggling and going through this stuff, man. If something happened to change their life, man, they just couldn't recover. And it's a lot of that goes on in prison, man. Things will happen to you when you just can't recover, bro. You can't recover. There's no way you can recover from it. It's a mental aspect, it's a physical aspect. Either it's gonna put you in a fight or flight mode, man. Certain things gonna happen. It's gonna turn you into either a vicious dude or it's gonna turn you into a real scary dude. And I've seen both ends of the coin, man, both ends of the spectrum. But anyway, man, be home in a couple of days. We be back on it, man. Y'all like me up, hype me up, and y'all stay sharp out there, man. I don't never want to see none of y'all in this type of position, man. Stay free, man. Be safe, be smart, make good decisions, man. We out here, TBP Nation, stand up.
The Banky special. Yeah, pure deliciousness. Pure deliciousness, man.
My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young.
coming out here after 30 years, yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts.